Hello and welcome, all the losers, freaks, and social outcasts, to yet another episode of the E-CEL podcast, your source for all things EPunk and Incelcore. I'm your host, Ofigs, and I thank you for tuning in. Let me just say my usual speech. If you guys want to support the podcast, go to our merch store. If you want to donate, you got to buy the special gold poster. Each purchase of that will give me $20 to put towards the podcast. That item, by the way, is going to disappear at the end of the year when we do our next E-CEL Motel competition. All right. So please buy that. All the funds from that will go towards helping out with the next E-CEL Motel. Those are not easy to set up, just so you know. Anyways, I'm going to remind everyone, please subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify. If you don't want to listen on YouTube, we got a Spotify account. You can find the link below. Follow our account on Twitter. We do Twitter Spaces now every other Friday between interviews. So next week, this interview is releasing on the 11th of October. It's a Friday. Next Friday, we're going to do another Twitter Space. It'll be cool. We just did one last week. It was really awesome. Everybody said it was great. So please follow us on Twitter to stay up to date when those come out. Make sure you guys check out our Rumble channel. That's where we'll have offensive off-color clips, that we can't have on YouTube, stuff that we cut out from this interview. Please go check that out. Also, if you guys want to stay tapped into all of this will be consolidated on the E-CEL Discord server, which is also just a great place to hang out, meet a lot of the musicians. It's forming its own culture. We got like 300 members right now. It's great. Chat's always active. VC's always popping. It's the place to be. So I hope to see you guys in there too. And like I said before, links to all of these things that I've just mentioned is in the description below. Also, huge shout out to our guy. He's named iFly. He's a member of our server. He's been doing a lot of work to create some clips for the podcast. So if you check out our shorts section here on YouTube, you will see, I know we've got at least one up by the time this releases. Maybe there will be more in the future. Check those out. They're really awesome. Make sure you share them on TikTok, share them on Instagram, share them here on YouTube. Make sure all your friends see them. They're really cool. They're funny. Little bite size, the best bits from all the interviews. So check that out, please. Really, I think that's all that I really wanted to talk about. I think that I've covered all of my opening spiel. So I'm going to go ahead and get our co-host in here. So our co-host today is a relatively unknown name who's kept a low profile on the scene, but he has been around since the OG ICG days back in 2021. He's part of one of the few actual bands in the scene and has recently made a return to making music after a year-long hiatus. Please welcome to the podcast, Harpseal. How are we doing, man?
I'm doing well tonight. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So, what do you want to talk to me about?
I just thought that it'd be good for you to give sort of an intro to yourself. I know that you're not active at all on Discord and you don't have a SoundCloud account. I don't know. You don't seem very tapped into me, but you beg to differ, correct?
I've been around this stuff for a long time. I think I said I was an Incelcore unk.
All right.
I have a Discord. Pretty much the only two Discord servers I'm in are my own and whatever one's floating around in the community, whether that be ICG, ICG2, Incelcore Bunker. I've been in all of them. A couple archive places. I was in Below Ground's Discord server. Yeah, I've been around. I'm very active on Twitter. You can find me Harpseal and the Hyperboreans on Twitter. And yeah, we're a band. There's three of us. It's me, my drummer, and my guitarist.
Sweet.
So I think that's a little, strange for this sort of scene. Not a thing you see very often. But yeah.
No, not at all.
No.
Not whatsoever, honestly. The only one I can think about is Copers. And there was technically Red Pilled Rockstars, but I mean, that's just like a project more so than a band.
Like a collective.
Yeah,
not a lot. It's certainly a unique way of making music. I'm the lyrics guy. I don't know music theory or anything. That's what they do. So yeah, it's certainly interesting being like a stadium rock band in the Incelcore community, when most people are more like a one trick pony. So it's very interesting. One guy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I was going to say, being a band, are either of your bandmates like part of the scene either? I mean, you've told me, I think personally, that it's really just you, right? Do they know about Incelcore?
They know what Incelcore is. When I pitched the idea to them in our choir class, I was like, this is going to be this band. You can go look it up. But yeah, no, I mean, they're both very like not plugged into the scene. They don't have Twitter accounts that are, following any of the big names. If you told them, hey, do you know who Fried by Fluoride is? They'd probably say, yeah, I know who that is. But other than that, that's probably the only thing they know. So I'm really the only one that's like,
and they're fine being attached to a scene called Incelcore.
Hey, I mean, great minds think alike. I don't think that they're incels, but I think they share politics, share worldviews. So, it wasn't a very hard sell. So if they had any reservations, they should have gotten rid of those 4 years ago.
True. Do you like identify like with the scene, like specifically the incel part, or are you just here for the music?
Well, I'm a fake cell. I've got a girlfriend, but for the longest time, wow. I know, dangerous. But I mean, for the longest time, I think in my bio on Twitter it says real Incelcore, and yeah, I mean, proud incel core person.
Okay.
Fake cell, but proud Incelcore person. So I've got no qualms.
You're not the first person to use that label. I mean, Fried, he's dated women, several times, and his handle on Twitter is proud incel,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's not even a big deal, but lots of people use the branding, but as long as you're friendly to the scene, really, what does it really matter,
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure 75% of the scene are fake cells anyways. So yeah.
Sure. You would know, you've been around here for forever, right? I do want to ask, has it always been that way that most of the scene is fake cells? Because I've heard from some people, like Heartbreaker is one who I talked to. He seems to say that Incelcore started out, it was all incels or pretty close to being an incel. Like maybe you had like one encounter with a girl, like one relationship. But they were all pretty much incels. And now it's sort of developed into a sense where everybody has become fake cells. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, Heartbreaker, I haven't heard him say that, obviously. But, it's a good point. It's a thing to be raised. I think part of that is just different people turnover. Hell, most of the people that went to Virgin Fest don't associate with the scene anymore. So when new people come, when the stuff is more mainstream, I know Fried by Fluoride has, hundreds of thousands of listens on his songs. So when stuff just becomes more mainstream, you lose that real incel stuff, it's now more just, it's Incelcore's a label as opposed to like a lifestyle, like it's no longer a lifestyle brand. It's a way you market yourself,
So you think it has moved away from that, or do you think it was ever that to begin with, like about incels specifically?
The thing about new people coming in is that it turned away from the real incel shit, like if you really think about it, there was actual hostility to women in the scene up until Virgin Fest and even beyond that. I remember these Discord VCs where people would get angry if you were a girl that spoke, that's
based.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's incel. I don't think you'd have that same vitriol.
Right.
People are still, they make the same music. They make this music that sounds the same, I should say. But even, I'll just go back to Fried because he's the one that I listen to the most. Even Fried, his albums recently have been about women that he has dated.
Right.
And has, been with. So
sure.
Just that, with with NegativeXP disassociating himself from the scene, it's like Fried by Fluoride sort of taken up the biggest guy. In more ways than one. And so if you think about it, Fried by Fluoride, the biggest guy is writing about a girl that he lost. Well, how do you lose somebody? You have them to begin with.
Right.
So if that's not like a barometer for where the incelness of the scene is, I'd say that, you need to put some screws, tighten some screws in your head.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I will say there definitely is some like actual genuine incel artists. Hey, you're looking at one. But, there is definitely some of those guys still on the scene, and it's what makes the scene unique. You won't find this anywhere else, this culture that we've got going on.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
For better or worse, it is like rooted in incel culture specifically.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with that. And, a little beyond that point too, it's like, not only is this the only scene you'll find this in, it's sort of going away, which I think is a little sad. Like, the fact that we have to have this conversation, it's like, is it real Incelcore anymore? I'd say, yeah, still, but, it's just an interesting conundrum.
I'd say it's still there. I'd say it's even coming back. It's just going to look different than it used to. The scene will look different. I think the culture will more or less stay the same. Because, I mean, in E-CEL, I get crap all the time for saying, why do you allow women in here at all? And it's like, look, they can't use VC. They can't upload images. Like, what more do you really want from me? But you just can't win with people is what I've learned. But, we try.
Yeah.
We try.
Yeah.
But anyways, I did want to ask you one other thing really quick before we jump into the news. Why aren't you on SoundCloud? That's like the place to be for the scene.
Yeah, so that's just, it happened. Like, I don't know. My bandmate who's in charge of actually uploading this stuff to the places that we put it on, we just never made a SoundCloud account, I guess. I like Spotify much better as a place to listen to songs.
Sure.
That's always been my thing. Like I have SoundCloud on my phone just to listen to Incelcore.
The thing is, I would say is that SoundCloud is the place where you get, engagement with your community specifically. Like on Spotify, you'll get people who will casually listen to you, but SoundCloud has like comments and they have reposts,
Yeah.
That's where you find that's where you get in touch with other people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that my Twitter account definitely has sort of assumed that position. Like,
sure,
if you know me, it's probably because I was on Twitter with you. Between SoundCloud and Spotify, it's whatever. I'm not making money from anywhere anyways, so it's not like I'm, like, ooh, I need to like have a bigger following or whatever. I do it for fun, so many things sort of tangential to that, but important is that so many things in this scene have come about because somebody doesn't get paid for something asinine. So it's like, I can't really get myself in a twist about that.
Sure. That's my favorite part is that a lot of people here aren't in it for the money. They're in it to have fun. And that's like, I think that's the core of this place. We're all here to escape from the world, like we have our own unique culture. This is the only place you can go really to be yourself and make your own music. And if people shit on you, it's just like, whatever, it's Incelcore. Like, what do you expect from a genre called that,
Yeah. You're telling me that the people who are rampantly hostile to everybody and dislike their lives and want to change them and can't get anybody except on a Discord VC are hostile to people? Really? I wouldn't have been able to guess that one.
Yeah, they make music that's off-putting. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. But anyways, we're going to talk about some news really quick before we get to the main interview point. Hello, everybody. So this is an insert. We're recording this on October 9th after we've already recorded the rest of the interview. But this is some big news that we wanted to make sure makes it onto this episode of the podcast. Just this morning, the r/EPunk subreddit was deleted from Reddit on account of promoting hate. So it is completely gone. The cesspit known as r/EPunk is dead and removed from the internet. Personally, I mean, it does kind of suck. Somebody told me they said it had 1,700 members. Last time I saw it had 1,500, but it was getting pretty big, considering how big this scene is. It was gaining some traction. There was a lot of posts on it rather frequently. So there is, it is a little bit, upsetting because that's a big point of culture. But on the other hand, that sub was just so cheeks. I mean, I really have a hard time mourning over it. I don't know. Did you ever use it, Harpseal?
I mean, I've been on it many, not many times, but like looking on it. And oftentimes when you look up something related to this, this scene, like I wanted to find the video of Zerl and Bryn, where Zerl punches Bryn, and I couldn't find it
Oh,
anywhere. I couldn't find it anywhere but the ePunk Reddit. So, in
right.
terms of archival stuff, it's pretty useful. But man, I don't think there was a single take on there or a single post that I was like, this looks like a normal, well-adjusted person who is, should be let out into society. So I know we talked to
Yeah.
Tzar about that. The Reddit side of things. But yeah, I mean that's really what I have to say on the matter mostly.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I mean, there was some good like posts in there for, like you said, it's purely for archival purposes, but now those posts are relegated to people's hard drives and, the Discord servers, the various
Exactly.
Discord
Yeah.
servers, which, by the way, just going to say, if you were an r/epunk user and need some place to get your Incelcore fix, join the E-CEL Discord server, link below. It seems like our server is going to kind of become the hub for the scene at this point because, I mean, ICB is dead. ICG is dead. I mean, it has been dead forever. I mean, literally, like, do you know of any other, like, specifically Incelcore servers? The only one I can think of is Wiz City, and that one is just so horrible. Like, that is literally just r/epunk except on Discord.
Yeah, I mean all the ones that have existed are gone now. Yes, I second Ofix here. Go to the E-CEL Discord server. It's got all the people you want.
Nope.
And yeah, so
Plus, it's actually moderated. Did you know? This is a fun fact a lot of people don't know. That r/epunk sub was moderated by 2 women.
really, I did not know
quote
that.
unquote moderated because they did a horrible job. They didn't delete anything. I remember specifically there's a period of like 3 days when there's barely any posts, and the first post you would see when you pull up r/epunk was a soy jack eating shit. Like it was eating shit falling into his mouth. It like perfectly summarized that fucking sub.
I thought you were gonna say there that they were quote unquote women, but that might be funnier.
No, like I
Yeah.
think they're actual women, like actual
Wow.
broads. But yeah, so
We were talking about in the actual episode, bringing back hostility towards women. Maybe this will convince some people.
yeah, exactly.
You have to moderate your subreddits.
Well, hopefully we just don't go back to Reddit. I mean, frankly,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the best place for people to be congregated. If someone else wants to build a website, off-site, and I don't know, like on the .win servers, like I know there's like consumeproduct.win. Maybe there is like an option. I'm not gonna set it up. I got too much on my hands already. But if someone wants to set their own thing up, contact me. I will gladly promote it. But you have to promise that you'll have moderators on there because I'm not going to promote a heaping pile of shit. There's going to be some quality control in the scene. Somebody's got to do it. It might as well
Yeah.
be me.
Yeah.
But
You're the chosen one. Like.
okay. I'm not going to say anything on that on account I don't want to catch even more flack than I've already gotten. But, I will say, I mean, I've done a lot for this scene. What can I say? Giving up a lot of my time. But, is how it is. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see just everybody in the E-CEL Discord server. That's where everything's happening. But, yeah, very... I'm not going to say it's a sad day at all. I mean, it's just another day. It's just a big piece of news,
Yeah.
But anyways, back to our regularly scheduled programming. One thing, I'm just going to start off our main piece of news. There's this new comp album that by the time this episode comes out should already be released. It comes out on the 10th of October. We're recording this on the 6th, but it comes out on the 10th of October, should already be out. It's called Freak Show. And it features some big names on this comp, such as Trash Talking in Bathrooms, who set it up. He set up this comp album. It features Below Ground, Hollowed, and then many other well-known artists, such as Strepsiades, Psyops, Adu, Fuster, I forget how you say that, Kanashi, and there's several more. I think there's something like 28 guys that are supposed to be on this with one song each, but Trash Talking in Bathrooms is the guy who's posted it on SoundCloud. I think it's going to be on his account. They didn't tell me if it's going to be on Spotify. I assume it will be. But I'm sure just look up, Freak Show. It's a new comp album. Make sure you guys all check it out. Like it, repost it, share it, especially your favorite songs on there. I'm looking forward to it for sure. I'm going to listen to it the day it comes out. But yeah, everybody be sure to check that one out. Speaking though of some of those members, another piece of news is that Below Ground has said on Twitter, he just made this tweet. I'm sure you saw it, Harpseal. He made this tweet that just said the entire content of it was CPPC 2. So I'm not sure if that's an announcement or if he's just making a joke. But I do happen to know that there is something big in the works. This information was leaked on our Twitter space last Friday. Start attending those. We don't record them, so make sure you guys attend those for info like that. But I know something big in the scene is in the works, and then he tweets that out. So I don't know if those are related at all. Do you know anything about this, Harpseal?
No, I must be out of the loop on that one. I saw that tweet. That's really exciting. If true, though, I love CPPC, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Totally, yeah. Durr was on here, and he said that the joke was that CPPC sucked, and it's like, no, like it's always ranked towards the top. Whenever you see like those Incelcore album ranked lists, it's always near the top.
No, absolutely, yeah. That's a gem. That's a gem right there.
Yeah, totally. Like it's one of my favorites personally. I just don't know if they'd be able to get everybody who was on the first one on the second one, if this is true, or if they'd just be making another comp with an entirely new set of people, except maybe Below Ground, and they're just going to call it CPPC 2, in which case that'd be kind of lame because like Durr said, if you're going to make a second album, it should have all the originals on it, all the original guys.
Yep.
But who knows? I guess it's something to look out for.
Absolutely, yeah.
And something else that I want to promote, something exciting, kind of, is that Cameron Phlodge, he is going to be going on an interview with this podcast called TradTards. This isn't really news. I just think it's funny. I'm going to check it out because I have no idea how it's going. But this other podcast, it's like this Catholic, like edgy right wing podcast. It's very small, but there was this moment in the E-CEL Discord where we all rated their comment section and told them to have Cameron Phlodge on their podcast. They actually reached out to him to get him on there. And he told me last night that apparently he went on there, they recorded it, and he said that he was going to treat it like a meme. And he did at first, but I guess he warmed up to the idea and actually gave him a serious interview. So I'm a little bit pissed about that because I'm the interview guy for the scene. I should be giving him the interview, but whatever. Also something to check out with that, he was paid to record an intro for their podcast. So it might be, if he gets it done, if that lazy guy gets it done, on that interview, you might hear a Cameron Phlodge original opening for it. So that's something to check out for. Also, I'll just offhandedly mention Cameron Phlodge does have a new EP coming out. He's making a return to the scene in a way. He's going to be releasing this new EP sometime in late October. So keep an eye out for that too. Make sure you subscribe to him on SoundCloud and all that. But kind of pisses me off. He'd go on another, interview. I expected him to treat it like a joke, and then he tells me, "Oh, I actually treated it serious." It's like, fuck you. But whatever. Last piece of news that I want to talk about, and Harpseal, you are all over the Twitter, so I want your opinion on this too. The way I see it, dude, the scene is fucking back in a big way, like our Twitter spaces are awesome. We got everybody's posting on Twitter. They've all got their own Twitter accounts, all the artists, they all have their own fan bases. So it's not like we're all sharing the same audience. The Discord server, the E-CEL Discord server is popping off, we got our own culture forming on there. People's songs, they're reporting their songs are getting more streams than before. Fried's got I think he's nearing 600,000 monthly listeners. It's crazy. And that's spreading down below. I think Heartbreaker just reached 20,000 monthly streams. Other people are reporting, hundreds of new viewers or 100 of new monthly streams. It's like the scene is just so back, Do you agree, Harpseal? What have you noticed?
Yeah, no, totally. I was worried maybe late 2023 that it was just gone. Like I actually was worried about that because, it didn't seem like many people were wanting to interact with each other. There's a lot of hostility, negative. Not that, there isn't negativity, but just like, a lot of almost like downwardly mobile stuff, like everybody's crab bucket, like pulling each other down. But yeah, I mean, I was on your Twitter space this Friday. It was popping off, lots of speakers. I spoke there for a minute until somebody insulted me and I got butthurt. But yeah, I mean, there was, but yeah, I mean, it's great. Even outside of that, I saw a boost in listenership. Only about nice. About 100 people, but that's a lot for me.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's trickle down economics. Fried's. Yeah, Fried's almost crested. I think you said 600,000, which is insane. I'm pretty sure his song "Love That I Lost" got. I think it's at 1 million listens right now. So
way over 1 million.
Is it over 1 million?
3.
Okay, I saw him. Okay, yeah, saw him posting about that maybe a couple months ago. So I mean, yeah, I hate to use the word for underground versus mainstream, but like there's a community here. There's a community. There's vibrance. Incelcore apparently got gentrified. That's how I'd term it. So yeah, but I'm really excited about it. Yeah, I'm very excited about the direction it's going.
There was a period of darkness. I mean, I know you were off for a year and then you came back. I mean, was part of your reason for coming back that you saw it like on an upward trajectory, or did you just happen to return at this time?
Yeah, it was it was sort of two things. One, the stars aligned. I know we were talking about this earlier, but I got back from school. I had time in my schedule. Job wasn't as punishing, so I just started recording again stuff. But another thing was just like seeing all these people make it, quote unquote, like getting these like huge amounts of streams. I'm like, there's still a place for Incelcore in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was an important part. It was easier to convince my partners, hey, bandmates. It was easier to convince my bandmates that we could, there was a place for us and people would listen. So yeah, that's definitely a big part of it.
Yeah. No, it's just so good to see, So many people are like now white-pilled with the scene and everybody's looking forward to new projects, big things coming out. So yeah, it's just, I can't help but sometimes, I'll be in a VC in my server. There'll be like 20, 30 people in there and I'll see we got like 300 members and I'll see that Twitter is like popping off. There's always an artist posting some, funny tweet or something. And I see these tweets getting like 50 to 100 to even like 300 likes. And it's just like, man, feels so good. And I can't help but take just a little responsibility, with the whole podcast and set up the server. So it feels good.
Trendsetter right here, you're like the late night talk show. You got the ability to make or break.
Exactly. And it takes a lot of people to make this all happen. So it's just good to see. But we're going to go ahead anyways and jump into our interview with the man of the hour, so to speak. I am pleased to introduce one of the oldest heads there is. He is best known for possessing the highest quality music production in the scene. He is a staple of the EPunk Incelcore live scene. He's recently released a great album called Armed to the Terror of the People, as well as a new single called I Wish I Was a Neat. And most impressively, he was the winner of the first ever E-CEL Motel music competition with his song Wage Cuck Anthem, won him $500. I am proud to introduce Tzarbombah. Welcome to the podcast, Tzar. Thanks for being here, man.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here right now. Thank you for the awesome intro.
Yeah, of course. We, like I always say, we like to soften them up before we get into the nitty gritty, before we get into the hard stuff. But I guess I just want to start off by asking, what is it like living life as a 5-foot man?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I love it.
I was just gonna say,
I've got an excuse for anything now.
I was just gonna say, that's like the thing everybody brings up. Like Heartbreaker always has like he's gay. Cameron Fhlodge says that he's fat, and then it's always like you're short. How tall are you exactly?
I'm 5'6".
5'6". Dang.
Yeah, I know. That's what all the girls say too. Like, oh yeah, damn. Yeah.
Does it ever like affect the punk rocker persona?
No, no, it really doesn't. The only time I've ever heard it actually talked about is when people insult me online. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, every time I see videos of you on the stage, it's always like, I mean, you look larger than life with your UN helmet and all that, you know?
Yeah, just small things like that just help me overcompensate for the height. People kind of forget about it then, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But what I really want to know, though, is how you got your start here on the scene or just in music in general. I know that most of your popularity came from you being tied to iFunny, right? Which is like a meme posting platform.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about when exactly you got started with that, or if you were involved in music before iFunny?
Well, I was a choir kid pretty much since forever. So of course I have that background there. And when I was about 12 or 13, I started playing guitar. Originally started learning to play guitar to impress a girl, and I was like, damn, this is actually kind of fun. I'm gonna actually do this.
Nice.
Yeah. And of course she wasn't impressed anyway, so I was like, oh well, I'm stuck with it. So but of course I've been using iFunny forever.
Sure.
And I tried actually making like serious contemporary music, and it was fun. I started learning how to record around the same time that I started learning how to play guitar. So I kind of learned both at the same time. So I was maybe 13 or 14 when I started. But then I had the great idea, like, oh shit, I'm semi-popular on iFunny. Like, let me make stuff for iFunny.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I made I Hate Fat People, and I uploaded it. I think I was using TuneCore at the time to get everything uploaded, and of course I shared it when it released. And I woke up the next morning, I had like 50,000 streams.
Wow.
Like people were sharing it, and I was like seeing it on 4chan and stuff. It was wild.
Nice.
I was like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing now.
So real quick, before we get too far into it, you said that you were already big on iFunny when you started making music. Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've just one of the old heads on iFunny that just accumulated a lot of followers over time. I think I've been using that
just from like posting memes or whatever.
Pretty much, original content and stuff like that.
Got it.
I got popular for uploading the. You ever seen a video of the rooster that got shot with a 12 gauge?
What?
I have. So yes,
Yes. Everybody's seen it. It's just whether you remember it. But yeah, that was mine.
Okay, sweet.
That was mine. So I uploaded that, and it kind of blew up. So then I was kind of known on iFunny, unfortunately.
How old were you at that time?
Like 12 or 13.
No way. Wow.
Yeah.
That must have been a heck of an ego boost being that big, at that time.
Oh, I thought I was God. I thought I was God.
Well, that's cool.
I just wanted to say, I want to know how many other Incelcore guys, Incelcore EPunk, I don't know which one you want to go by, but I want to know how many other Incelcore guys also were choir kids, because I did choir for so long in my life. Like, and it's crazy that you did that too. Like, that's just,
I was in choir
weird.
In college, for what it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've met a handful that were choir kids. More of them were band kids, actually, from what I've met.
That makes sense.
That
Yeah.
makes perfect sense.
Totally.
Oh, shit.
So, when you say that you uploaded your song, I Hate Fat People, then how does that work uploading music to iFunny? It's a visual medium, isn't it?
So
did you have like a music video with it?
Yeah, I used to just make like the same thing I do now, pretty much, just a cheap 30-minute worth of effort lyrics video where I just have my logo and I have the lyrics at the bottom.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, well, this song's on Spotify, so if you want to actually hear it, then go ahead, because you couldn't post more than a minute at the time. And actually, at the time, I had the little Wojaks that were dancing like a GIF. So that was like, yeah, that was innovation right there for me with any of my.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. But,
is it crazy Wojaks are still around to this day? Like they're still popular?
Yeah, it is. There's even more of them then.
Yeah, for better or worse. Some of them are pretty unhinged, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But I was going to say, so after you made I Hate Fat People, then Is that when you started like making, like you really started getting into music, like mostly, or were you still like
Yeah.
posting this OC stuff on iFunny?
I was pretty heavy into it, but after that moment is when it really started shifting to just music instead of just like memes or vines, So
Yeah.
it shifted towards music pretty quick after that.
Gotcha. Okay. And you said you were 14 at the time when that happened. Could I ask how old you are now, and maybe are you still on iFunny, or did you move away from it at a certain point?
I post occasionally. No, when I uploaded I Hate Fat People, I was probably 18 or 19. I'm 24 now.
Oh.
Yeah, I started
okay.
I started music when I was 14. I started playing guitar.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you still attached to iFunny at this point, or did you move away from it?
I'm still attached to it, just part-time. I maybe open the app once a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a shithole.
You think it's gotten worse over time?
Yeah, it always has been a shithole. It just got really bad, like somehow worse. You wouldn't think that would be possible, but it did.
Okay. All right. I was going to say too, if you started at 14 and you made that at 18, have you always been known as Tzarbombah? Because you've said before that you had projects before Tzarbombah.
Yeah, I went by my real name for a while, and I also went by my iFunny handle, which was Jeff Fisher or Lord Jeff, or Jeff Todd Fisher. So I kind of just bounced between those two there.
Do you remember which one you uploaded I Hate Fat People under?
That was Tzarbombah.
Okay.
That was the first Tzarbombah song. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, all right. Yeah. So if you're so attached to iFunny, then I got to ask, how did you get started with Incelcore? Did you just become attached to it just because your music happened to fit the genre, or did you move into it? 2020 is about when the scene really started, with or late 2019 with, Shooter's son, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Did you become actively engaged with it, or were you just grouped with it?
I was kind of grouped with it at first. A lot of people were telling me, hey, like you should listen to NegativeXP or School Shooter or Hard Christ. And I kind of became familiar with the scene then. So I made an Instagram account and started posting there and started following them. And then they started following me back, which was crazy because I felt like, I don't know, it was weird when Hard Christ followed me. He was the first one to follow me. I felt like these celebrities were like giving me attention after I just came off of iFunny.
Was it really like a starstruck moment for you? Because weren't you already pretty big at that time?
I was, but I wasn't known outside the app.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So seeing people outside the app, I mean, NegativeXP was way more popular, on all social media than I was on iFunny anyway. So yeah, it was a pretty starstruck moment, especially when he followed me.
Sweet. Gotcha. Well, very cool. I was going to say, you've always seemed sort of, and maybe it's because you came from iFunny, you've always seemed to sort of keep the scene Incelcore like kind of at an arm's reach. You choose to hang out with other people who maybe are not like super popular within the scene, if you know what I mean. Like there's the live show people who have their own disagreements with the online crowd, and also this collective called True Cult Neofolkabilly. You never really collab with anyone. So I need to know, like, do you disagree with the Incelcore culture, or do you like prefer like EPunk branded style music, or what's your take on this?
I'm going to be honest. It's kind of a gray area with me. I'll hang out with anybody if you're cool. Like, the online people, I don't have a problem with y'all. The True Cult people, I'll hang out with some of the guys there. I don't really collab with people literally because, like, I just don't have time.
Okay.
I work so much. I just kind of do my own music in my free time. And I'm sure, like when you collaborate with somebody, it just takes a whole lot more time to do that.
Sure.
And that's something I want to get better at. But as far as like the Incelcore culture, I mean, I come from iFunny, so I can't say shit, right? It's like the pot calling the kettle black. But like when I remember there was a moment I was really disgusted when I was going on like, the Reddit page, EPunk, and like there was this guy that was like posting about my music, how he liked it. But then I went on his profile and he was posting in like the rape fantasies subreddit. And I was like, oh, this is like, I was like, damn. I was like, okay, I gotta kind of like denounce this without like trying to generalize everybody who likes my music. Because like I can't say it's Incelcore is bad itself, but it's just kind of at the end of the day, I've come to realize that like if you're online, you're going to attract some really bad people. And at first I was like, I had the mindset of, oh yeah, just Incelcore might actually be bad, but it doesn't matter what scene you're in, you're going to have bad people. So I don't have a problem with Incelcore. I kind of like Incelcore more than EPunk.
I was going to ask, like, okay, so, you know, if you think about it, do you consider yourself Incelcore, EPunk, True Cult, WizTow? Like, do you put a label on it, or are you just like, you know, I make music?
Right, I'm Incelcore.
Okay.
I'm Incelcore.
Hell yeah.
I'm locking in on that one. Fuck it.
Let's go. Nice. Good to hear.
We love that.
With that, then I want to ask, what is your connection then with the live scene? Because you say like, oh, collabing takes a lot of work. I would argue that driving out to do a live show and setting up and tearing down, I'd say that's a lot more work than just sharing some MP3s online.
That is true, but it's a hell of a lot more fun. So it's a hell of a lot more fun, and sometimes you can actually, you know, make money doing it. So, but there's also the aspect, and this is the biggest thing, is that you know, I've become friends with all these guys, and it's really cool to see them. You know, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up in person; they were all online. So when you're online friends, you know, become IRLs. It's worth the 6-hour drive like twice a year to see them and then play music with them. It's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. For sure. So how did you get involved with the live scene then? Is it just you knew them? Like you said, I guess you said they were your online friends first, or?
Yeah. Well, I got invited to play at Valentine's Day Massacre. I actually was invited to play at Virgin Fest, but I didn't go.
Is there a reason for that?
Just home issues, finances, and stuff like that. There's nothing online. Yeah, I really wish I went though, but
yeah.
But so meeting everybody at Valentine's Day, and you know, including Shooter, made me realize, wow, these people are real people. So staying in touch with them, you know, being invited to other shows, helping organize other shows, it's kind of domino affected.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, you've become one of the, like I said at the top, you're like a regular at these live shows. It's kind of like if a live show's going on, you can expect to see Tzarbombah and then like Bessarian, Zaril. There's like a general group of guys that's typically like known as the live scene people, right?
Yeah. I really would love to see more of the online guys coming out to play. You know, it's pretty nerve-wracking the first time that somebody comes out to play, but once you come out and play and realize it's like fine, yeah, these are actually normal people in real life.
Well, some of them.
Some. A few.
I'd say most of them. When you meet them in person, the online persona is definitely different.
Sure.
And that's even including me.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah, there is an online, there's a group of people that are known for the live shows, but that's because we've been doing it. You know, if more people just gave it a shot and came out and just played once, then they would be, okay, you know what, when are we doing this again? It would grow, and that's what I would like to see.
Totally. Have you seen the live scene grow at all, or maybe even has it shrunk? Because for a while, like 2022 to 2023, again, I'm not sure how tapped in you were with the whole scene, but it kind of is well known that that was a period of like kind of died off. You know, the whole scene did. Yeah,
it's definitely grown. Not in just musicians, but in people that come out to the shows. This Southern Scum actually was the smallest one, but the other shows that we've had, like the last one in Evington, was one of the bigger turnouts.
Nice.
There was like 60, 70 people there. Like it was wild. And this place is like in the middle of nowhere. Like these people came from far away to come to this show. So I would say the live scene is continuing to grow, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
Nice. Well, that's great to hear. I'd actually would like to ask, what is your favorite live show that you've attended? You've been to most of them, it seems.
Oh, my favorite one? That's a good one. I'd say it's a tie. I think Doomerfest was really, really fun because that was the first time I really went far out of state, especially to do a show. I got to meet like Hollowed. I got to meet Jez. I met Bryn.
What's with the laugh there?
Can I have mod? Can I have mod?
I like how you said Bryn like 5 seconds after all the other ones. That was amusing. Yeah.
Can I please have mod now? But yeah, that show was fun. One thing I specifically remember from that show was like hearing how loud the crowd was like screaming lyrics that I wrote.
Oh yeah.
One of the songs I wrote, "Women Aren't Funny," is the chorus is literally "Women aren't funny, women aren't funny," and I yell "Yeah!" and like it was like a wall of fucking sound of people going "Yeah!" It's like they knew the song, and it was like I didn't even have to scream the "Yeah" part because I could just hear the whole crowd yelling it. And, yeah, that's just something I'll never forget, and I kind of experienced that at the last Evington show. I'd say that's my it's pretty close, probably my second favorite one because it's a very interactive crowd. A lot of people. It's really fun. Good night.
Sweet. Yeah. I mean, that's like, obviously I'm not like a real musician. I use MIDI, but all the guys who play guitar, they say that's like the goal, right? Is to play somewhere where people are singing your lyrics back at you, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing else like it. I don't know. I don't think it's one of those things that like some people probably get used to when they play shows, but I will never ever lose the appreciation for that. It's like the first time every time.
Sure.
It'll make a man tear up. It's fucking awesome.
Well, that's very cool. I do want to ask then also, with these live shows, you obviously need a band, and you've been with these guys doing this for so long. Have you ever considered like actually just, maybe converging and actually starting a band, or is it just purely for the live shows that you do that?
For this project, for the Tzarbombah project, we'll just kind of wing it, because it also depends on which musicians can make it out, because not everybody can play drums, not everybody can play guitar, but it's like one or the other. But me and a couple artists have been talking, and we are going to form a separate project eventually.
Really?
Yeah, we'll be playing a lot of local shows and stuff, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be really cool. Very excited for that.
Okay, sweet. Sick. Is that going to be more aimed at breaking into like new territory? You're not necessarily just doing it for the Incelcore EPunk crowd?
I mean, the edge is going to be there. It's going to be definitely for, I'd say, the Incel EPunk, community is included, but we are going to like open the door for more, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Frankly, I think now would be a good time with the whole scene on the rise,
Yeah.
Trying to push past the barriers, right? Especially for people who seek to do this full time.
Yeah.
Which that was actually my next question is doing so many live shows. You say that you make money off of them. Have you ever considered music as like a career? Is that your end goal, or? I
mean, I don't expect it to ever happen, but if it did, I certainly wouldn't complain. I mean, so I have a huge student loan that's out right now. So that's not really feasible right now, but in 2 years from now, whenever like my student loan's paid off and if the project does continue to grow, it actually is possible. So I would definitely take it up.
No, yeah. I was just, we were talking about the band earlier, and we had talked in the intro about, my project's one of the only ones in the scene that's, like an actual full band. Have you ever, you were talking about how you didn't necessarily, like, it wouldn't be very easy to start one with people in the scene, but, if you were to do one in, like, your local area, would you have releases, or would it just be you'd be playing? You said it'd be a separate project. You wouldn't like, it's not going to be called like Tzarbombah and the, right? It's just going to be like.
Yeah, it'd be totally different. It'd be a totally different name than anybody else in there. We would come up with just one name that we would go by.
Yeah, yeah.
That actually, speaking of starting a new project, I'm going to press you a little bit here.
Okay.
How serious are you about that? Because before you've talked about starting a project, it was called Good Religion. You made a big noise about how you're going to move on to that. You're going to leave behind Tzarbombah.
Yeah.
And it went nowhere. It has one release. You haven't put anything out. You just released a new album for Tzarbombah. The hell's up with that, man? What's going on?
Yeah, I got a couple songs that's made for that. Of course, starting the last Tzarbombah album, I was like, well, I don't want to like after I made the posts and stuff like that, I'm like, shit, well, I don't want to like stop the production or slow down the production of the album. I just got, I'm pretty decently into it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to be straight with you. I get manic sometimes. I get manic to stupid ass decisions. I've deleted my music like twice.
Wow.
Yeah, but I am pretty serious about this because this is more than just me. This is like multiple people who are talking about making this separate project. So this is going to happen.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, Tzarbombah's not going to be put on rest. Tzarbombah's still going to be playing shows and stuff, but this is going to be something else that's going to be coming out,
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, very cool. So is Good Religion is that a dead project or?
No, it's just going to be something I release single here and there until I finally have enough to make an album.
So it's like a side project is what it's turned into.
Pretty much. Because I do make more serious music sometimes, and then it's like, well, on this album I was like, I had anti-Semitic themes and like I'm like making fun of roasties. Do I really want to sit there and release a song that's like, like religious or something like that on here? So that's the purpose of that, is to have like that other outlet that I can kind of put the more serious stuff towards.
For sure. All right. That makes sense then.
Yeah.
You also, you just mentioned how you've deleted your music before. You have said in E-CEL, actually, this is where I learned of this because I haven't been super tapped into the scene, but apparently you had an album that had like almost 900,000 listens total.
Oh, yeah.
But then you said that you deleted it because of, all you said was it was because of drugs. Do you have a history with drug use, or was that a lie? Or
no, I did mushrooms once and had an ego death.
Oh, what?
Yeah. I mean, all my albums I uploaded before. Bass and Red Pill was getting close to 1 million streams. And then I deleted everything, and I guess I lost a lot of whatever algorithm I was riding because it has not picked up the same sense. But yeah, everything I had was deleted. I re-uploaded it and like kept a couple songs out because I was scared. Cause like at the time I was also being visited by the FBI and stuff. So I was like, oh man, like, if I have this song right here that's talking about like the or whatever, like it's gonna like destroy my life. I'm just paranoid.
Mossad's gonna come after you for the album. Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah. So like my old releases, they just had a lot of streams on them, and they'll get back there eventually.
For sure. I mean, yeah, it's good music, so it's just a matter of time, really.
Just don't do drugs. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And do you want to talk at all about this? You said that you have manic episodes. Is that like a serious thing, or is that like a joke?
It's serious, but it's not like horrible. I guess like I don't run away for days or like disappear. Like it's not horribly bad. I just make stupid decisions sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like delete all your music.
Yeah. Or I'll go and like buy a car and realize I hate it, and then I'll just like sell it. That was more like when I was younger, though. I've kind of matured since and been able to control it. So I wouldn't say I'm like bipolar or anything, but I do have a little manic moments.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're saying like all of the archive channels should be downloading your music right now?
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Nah, this shit stayed up forever, man. That was
yeah.
Of course, me deleting everything like that. That was majorly because of I had an ego death doing mushrooms, so I'm not doing that shit anymore. So we're good.
For sure.
We're good.
All right,
don't worry,
perfect.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people who put Hispanic captions on your, music for years to come. So I'll be able to find it, even if you have another ego death.
Up with that? What is up with that?
See, I'm glad you've noticed this too, because
I've noticed it. Yeah,
I cannot find most of Shooter's old stuff is only archived by people who put Portuguese captions.
Yeah, it's Portuguese. Yeah, it's Brazilian.
It's Portuguese. Yeah, it's Brazilian. It's AMVs with Brazilian captions.
Weird.
I've got a handful of those too.
Yeah, like what's up with that?
We need to do a show in Brazil.
The only explanation I could think of that is that there's a weirdly large presence of Incelcore guys in Brazil, Argentina, that area.
Really?
Yeah, like the ones I can think off of my head are Common Bastards, and there's a couple others. There's a few big artists that are, they're South American.
Yeah.
Do they sing in Portuguese or?
like Common Bastard stuff, some of his stuff is in Portuguese, but some of it's in English too. I think they know
Cool.
the language they need to speak to get popular. You know?
That's cool.
How do you say I hate women in Portuguese? That's the real question.
I'm sure they'll tell you.
Yes.
But yeah, it's weird, but I suppose, you know, they're just a bunch of true cells down there. It's a true cell factory.
Yeah.
You had briefly mentioned, Tzar, that you were visited by the FBI for your music. I've seen that Twitter post that you made when that happened, and somebody had taken a picture of you literally talking to FBI agents like on your front lawn or something.
Yeah.
In that same tweet, you can't see who it was in reply to anymore because the reply tweet has been deleted. It was to somebody called like Mrs. Wormy, and it seems like you were blaming them for the FBI showing up because you said, this guy wanted me to record and mix the album after Gamer 3 and then blocked me. So could I ask, who do you think might have gotten the FBI called on you, or do you think they came for some other reason? Do you want to explain this?
Bro, back then, I was pretty sure it was Shooter. I'm not even going to lie. I don't think it was now, but so I was talking to Shooter, and I was going to record one of his albums for him. I was actually going to come down to Atlanta and record and mix everything.
Wow.
And the day that they blocked me, the day that they visited me happened to be the same day the Shooter blocked me. So, of course, me freaking out, being paranoid, was like, oh, yeah, it was fucking him. But,
Yeah.
yeah, so I really don't know. I was also dating a girl at the time, and her parents did not like my music or me. So that could have been it. It literally just could have been multiple reports because of Schizophrenic and Armed or something. Of course, me being a pilot at the time and having a song that was glorifying Richard Russell, you know, the guy that stole the Q400.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He's the guy who flew into the IRS building, right?
Yeah, that's the recent one. I'm waiting for that visit still, but yeah, so as that meme that you see of that guy that tweeted he was visited, that shit does not look good on paper.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they kicked down my door or anything like that. They just kind of knocked and wanted to question me about things. So
could I ask what they asked you about?
I will say a little bit of what they asked me. You know, they asked me if I was schizophrenic.
You gotta listen to the song, damn it.
Yeah, have you not heard the song?
Yeah.
But then they were like, okay, do you take any medication? It was funny because he had to my mom was out there with me. She wanted to record it. There is a video of it that will never be released. But yeah, he pointed at us and was like, stop laughing. Do not laugh at these questions.
Oh, dude, soy face at you?
Yeah. He's like, are you on any medication for mental health? Are you planning to shoot up a place? And in my head, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to tell you, right? But yeah. That was the first visit.
There's been multiple.
Yeah. The second visit was because I tweeted that I was going to kill 13 hookers on Friday the 13th. That one was kind of asking for it. Yeah.
Wow.
I gotta ask too, though, Tzar, do you think that the sort of on a lot of your album covers and in some of your songs, there's some I don't know how touchy this is, but anti-Semitic themes. Do you think that was a part of it? Did they ask you about that? Hey, do you have anything against these guys? Or
they didn't, but I know they know. I definitely know that was a reason. That could have been a huge reason for them to finally be like, all right, let's just go visit him. Because, of course, they probably kept tabs on, they'll keep tabs on somebody. And if they're not a threat or anything like that, they're not going to visit them, just going to keep an eye on them. But maybe they're like, okay, maybe we'll just go see how he's doing,
Yeah.
No, I've always told people with this scene and with how much the government hates incels, there's constant negative propaganda against them. 100%, no doubt in my mind, there is some FBI officer whose job is to check in on the scene every now and then. He'll come listen to the music, check out what the artists are doing. He might even be an E-CEL for all I know.
want his job. Yeah. I'd be so good at that.
Right.
We were pretty sure there was some that were at the second Southern Scum. Actually, I think it might have been the first one. Actually, they were just obviously not in with it, so we're like, oh, that's a fad. But it wouldn't surprise me if they came to some of the shows.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's no doubt because it's just, I mean, this scene's just openly edgy, and it stands against basically everything the current government stands for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's only obvious that they'd keep tabs on us. But
Yeah.
it's just something to keep in mind when you're making your latest song. Like, they love to joke, like, you know, you can't just make a song about killing all and then expect that, you know, you're not going to get put on some sort of list. Right?
Yeah.
Well, interesting to hear about all that. Before we get too far away from it, I do want to ask just a little bit more about your involvement with these sort of offshoot groups of Incelcore, because you say that I'm definitely Incelcore with the label. You've been involved probably kind of casually, as you've sort of hinted at, with this true cult Neofolkabilly group. I don't know if you'd care to sort of talk a little about this. A lot of people don't really know what it is. People can't decide if it's like just a group of friends or if it's like a Discord server, maybe like WizTow was, or if it's like a new genre. If you'd care to explain what it is and then maybe your involvement with it.
I'm going to be sure. I might be wrong here, but to my knowledge, I thought that was the WizTow Discord. It's just a group of friends, and I'm friends with
really?
some of them. So yeah. I don't think it's like an actual group. I think they're just friends, and I'm friends with some of them. So I guess that's my involvement with it. I don't think that's a genre, or I think the name True Cult Neofolkabilly was actually made as a joke.
A joke, really?
Yeah, I think that's a joke name. I want to say that Glock Angel made that. I could be wrong here, but yeah.
I always thought it was Birdbath or Gallarhornet that came up with that name.
It could be. Like I said, I could be wrong. I mean, that just shows you how included I am,
Sure. You were on there. There's this 2022 comp album called True Cult that was released.
Yeah.
It was released by this group called End of Days Records.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what that is, but you had a song on there, right?
Yeah. So they messaged me and they were all doing a comp. I was like, hell yeah, I'll submit something. But yeah, shout out to End of Days Records. Aiden Zaril, he does all that there. He makes CDs, he makes the cassettes. He puts so much effort into them. It's freaking awesome. If you guys ever want to like get CDs or tapes of all the artists, then go to their website, because like he paints on the CDs and stuff like that. That's what End of Days is.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I didn't even know Zarel did stuff like that. That's pretty neat.
Oh yeah. Zarel is awesome. Like so much work that goes into that.
I thought it was Fools who did all that stuff.
Fools does do stuff like that, but and I think they collab on some things, but End of Days is Zarel's work there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
Yeah, and we'll be getting more artists, and whenever I have an album, I send it to him. He does all the hard work of getting the CD made, all the artwork for it. Like I couldn't do all that.
Sure.
He does all the shipping and stuff like that. It's freaking awesome. Yeah, so definitely check him out. End of Day Records.
For sure. Yeah. No, cool. That's very neat. I did have a couple of questions regarding the True Cult group. Obviously, if you're only tangentially involved with it, maybe you don't know, which is fine, but any insight that you have would be great. There was apparently some sort of beef between True Cult and then there's this group. I have no idea who they are. It was called Girlsquad. Does this ring any bells?
I've heard those names. I remember seeing the Girlsquad art on Twitter. I literally have no freaking clue anything about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. Harpseal, you seem to know something about it.
I'm not sure I'd say I know, much more than just they followed me on Twitter. I don't think they ever released anything. There was never any release or anything. If I remember correctly, it was Jez and other women.
I think it was Shooter.
Shooter
was involved.
Yeah,
Raven.
I think Raven was in there.
Ren.
Yeah.
And then Cyborg, I think.
Cyborg 9K was in there as well. Yeah. It's interesting. The thing about that was like these people like are not associated with the scene anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I was just like, oh yeah, that rings a bell. So yeah.
I remember seeing them included on that, that one drawn picture of all of them. Or were they actually in it, or was that just somebody's drawing?
I have no idea. I always assumed it was like a joke thing, but I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure it was like just a joke because like I don't remember any music coming from them, and I just remember like the entire Twitter was just like insulting people, which was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. That's par for the course, though.
I'm pretty sure it was just one person writing that.
Okay.
Well, that would make sense then. That would explain some things. And then also, I don't know if you know anything about, I guess Jez and Birdbath had dated, and obviously they're both part of that whole group. And then they broke up, and then Jez made that song where she referenced a certain part of Birdbath. You know what I'm saying?
I never listened to it.
Okay. Well, yeah. We don't even talk about that.
Yeah, anything from like back then, I'm gonna be honest with you. I went to Doomerfest, I performed it, and I came back and I went back to work, and I saw that it was like people beefing. So I was like, you know what? I'm supporting my boy Liam. I don't know what the fuck's going on, and that's that. That's really like all I knew then. So
I always like the idea of that, just because it's funny, like, you know, scene drama like that. I like both the artists, but man, that was a nasty burn. Uncalled for, man. Uncalled for. Low blow. Well,
moving on then. We've already talked about End of Days Records, which is, I guess, as you've said, it's Zarel's, Aiden Zarel's project. Mm-hmm. You yourself had this thing. It was a recording service called Red Pilled Media Group. You had even put out ads for it, and you were recording local bands.
Yep.
But then you have supposedly said that you hated it and you just gave it up. Do you care to talk about it at all?
So any music project that I have, including like, you know, a Good Religion, is going to fall under like my little umbrella label, Red Pilled Media Group. But one way that I learned how to record and mix and master was going out and recording other bands. And doing that, I learned how fucking horrible that is. These weren't guys in like the online scene. These were like your local punk scene guys. So here I am. Hey, okay, we're going to meet at this building at 5:00. You know, we got a room. They've got it soundproofed apparently. None of them know the shit. None of them know how to play anything. None of them can get it in tempo. They're arguing. They smell like weed, so they're like just not cognitively totally there. And it's just a nightmare. Like. I wanted to do that for a living, and I would say I got pretty good at it, but just having to deal with the people made it a nightmare. And then you get everything done, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll get you next week when I get paid." Okay. Oh no, the rent was due. I'll get you next week.
Oh.
Or what made me quit is I was working with this band. They were a great band. They were like a rock jazz fusion band, and they had a woman singer. She actually had a really good voice, so it was fun recording. And I produced this album. Like we had a room rented out at the college, and it was like weeks of just going back and forth, going and recording. I'd start mixing some, we'd go to start the other song. And then I put so much time into this album, and then I sent it to them, and I was like so proud of it. And they're like, "Oh, well, we're looking for more of a lo-fi sound. Can you like get rid of all the compression and all like the reverb and effects and stuff like that?"
Jeez.
My goodness, dude.
I just like removed all the effects, put it into a zip file, and said, "Fuck you, here's your album," and I quit.
Wow, dude.
Wow.
That's horrible.
Oh, it sucks so bad. They broke up later on, so yeah, it felt good, but
yeah, nice. Fuck them.
Yeah, that was a straw that broke the camel's back. Screw that.
Well, yeah, that totally makes sense. And I was gonna say, punk generally, like I like Incelcore specifically because of the culture. Punk generally is like really, really gay. Like all the people in it involved
gross,
just suck.
So bad.
It's so bad.
Because it's like the most degenerate libtards ever,
It is. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You can't be punk if you're transphobic. You can't be punk if you're transphobic.
Hello, Cyborg.
Damn. We're throwing all the shots at the Girlsquad today. They call it Girlsquad for a reason, So
yeah.
So, shooter included. No.
We need to like look at that picture and check on every guy that was drawn in that picture. Hey, you doing all right?
You still a guy or
missing anything?
How's the transition going?
Yeah. Wow.
That's funny.
Oh boy.
Well, then moving on. Actually, speaking of this Girlsquad and Shooter, you were saying that when you started out, all these big guys started following you, and you had your Twitter account where you're active with the scene a little bit. I know for a fact that you and Shooter, you interacted a lot on Twitter before he got banned and disappeared. But apparently, again, I wasn't around for most of this, but I'm told that most of your interactions were negative with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you care to expand on what happened? Like what soured your guys' relationship?
I'm going to just like kind of, I really do wish him well. And I would like to make up with him one day. But after like the post Doomerfest drama, you just kind of like turned on everybody that like was on Liam's side, which makes sense naturally.
Well, wait, could you explain what you mean by that? I'm not sure what you're referring to.
From what I remember, like people were either siding with Jez or siding with Liam. I don't remember like the semantics of it.
What happened between them?
I don't know. I just supported my buddy.
Okay.
That's just it. I've heard so many things like, all I know is I was supporting my friend at the time.
And who's Liam?
Oh, I'm sorry. That Yellow Hornet.
Bird bath. Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, so I think Shooter was siding with Jez, so yeah, everybody was just going at each other's necks, and honestly, it was kind of fun. Everybody was just insulting each other on Twitter, so I was like, it was blood sport. We were just going at it.
Got it. Okay.
And what started it like big time between me and him was that I was making fun of these local bands I was recording. I was like, if you've got like thousands of dollars worth of equipment and your music still sounds like shit, there's a problem. He's like, are you subtweeting me?
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Are you subtweeting me?
That's hilarious, though. That's funny.
Well, I mean, I would subtweet him that after Gamer 3 is all I'm saying. Like, that you gotta sound better, man.
I didn't like that album, but like I said,
yes, I don't think anybody did.
I wish him well. I hope he's doing well in life.
Well, that's good to hear. Maybe he listens to these. Who knows?
I think
you got to put his name in the tags under the YouTube video, so because he'll name search.
So he can strike us off YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Good idea. Well, I was gonna say, along with Shooter, he was the previous sort of scene leader on account of he was the biggest.
Yep.
Nowadays, we've talked about it in the podcast before, you do the same thing with Fried by Fluoride. You are you have been promoting tweets, like you'll retweet tweets that are negative towards Fried, specifically bringing up like the grooming allegations and such. And you seem to sort of be protracting this tension between you two. What started this sort of hostility between you and Fried by Fluoride, and what are your thoughts on, I guess, all of his controversies?
Well, it's kind of fun. That's all. Yeah, I'm having fun. That's literally it. Like, honestly, I think he makes great music. I just didn't like when he was like posting about the allegations and joking about it, like he was owning it, like, and he didn't regret it. Like, I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm gonna make fun of him. That's it. But like, honestly, like besides that, like all that shit, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just see a weak point. I'm just like, okay, well, I'm gonna make fun of him. He's got like a million times more views than me anyway. It shouldn't really matter, but
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say there was some points where it seemed like you were serious, especially when Penguin Band had called him out. I think it was on Instagram. Penguin Band was very offended at these allegations against Fried by Fluoride, and you seem to promote that, and you seem to be just as much so. Is it just that you were back then, but you've calmed down now, or?
I mean, that was when like the allegations were pretty fresh.
Yeah.
And also, like, I love Penguin Band, man. Like, when he was leaving, I was like, well, fuck, that sucks. Like, these cool artists are like leaving because of this. So I was like, oh, you know what? I don't like that. So of course I was really passionate about it then, but now I look back, I'm like, okay, you know what? Who fucking cares?
Okay.
It's whatever. Like me getting pissed is not going to really change anything, but it is still kind of funny because he will respond to me if I like comment. So there is like that little bit of a giggle I'll get from it, but like I don't condone it, but I don't really care at the same time.
Sure.
I kind of take what I say with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Was there maybe you could say there's a little bit of moral going on?
Yeah. Sometimes I'm a moral.
Well, we all are, it happens, but it's good to get to know that because I was worried coming into this, your public opinion of Incelcore is really hard to discern, dude. I mean, it seems like sometimes it seems like it'll seem you're almost anti-Incelcore. Other times it'll seem like you're fully behind the scenes. So it's really hard to get a pin down on what you think. So it's good that we're talking about this now.
Yeah, it was kind of wishy-washy back then, my opinions on it, but now it's like, well, I'm also like, I like to be mysterious, let that mystery be there. I'm like,
okay.
I'm like Daniel Tosh when everybody thought he was gay, like, yeah, you guys don't need to know, but I'm gonna keep it a mystery, but no, I'm pro Incelcore. I thought it was funny though, side note, it's still kind of on topic. I released this one song. It was Reborn Celibate. The original song was like Incel Anthem, and I changed it. And I was getting these messages from people that were pissed that I wasn't denouncing incels, but I took away the song that was like pro incel.
Yeah.
And like this one guy was sending me paragraphs, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say there was like at least like 2,000 words in it. Like he wrote me a paper. I will send you the screenshots later of this. Like a paper using like really great vernacular. Like this man was well educated on like the theory on why like volcellism is like inferior to incelism. Like I want to say I responded to. I was like, I am not fucking reading all that. Like
he sent you like a dissertation. He was doing that theology for the inceldom.
It's like 5 or 6 screenshots. It's better for me to take a screen recording of it and scroll. It's that much. That much. Yeah. So some people do take it really serious. So that is kind of funny when I like wish wash. I go back and forth. Like, oh, you know what? Maybe I don't like incels. Oh, maybe I do like the incel scene because like some people really do take that shit serious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's well known that you are a fake cell. I mean, you said earlier that you have a girlfriend, right?
I had one, but yeah, I'm a fake cell. Yeah.
And I will say, like,
forgive me.
There's but I will say there is people in the scene who it's like when you are like an actual like true cell, it is like you kind of hold on to that thing as like the only thing that you have. It like keeps you sane to just attach yourself to that label, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people, especially with autism, if it's all you have, it's that you become really passionate about it,
Yeah.
It sounded like you might have found one such guy there.
Yeah. Steve, like talk about a hyperfixation.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
But speaking of your music though, your music, it talks about a lot of right-wing talking points, like hating on fat people, women, and the government, and liberals, and a certain Middle Eastern ethnic group. And, and in the past, you've called your music ironic and satire, and you never really let it be known what your real opinions on these things are. You'd always sort of shield yourself as like, oh, I make funny meme music.
Yeah. My lawyer's telling me to keep saying it's sarcasm or satire.
Yeah, right. But now you seem to have sort of moved away from that. Like I haven't seen you reiterate that in a while. Maybe you have. I want to know how much of your music was made just for the fun of it, and how much of it is actually like reflecting your true belief, or is it a mix of the two?
It's a mix of the two, but honestly, back then too, I was getting visited, so like I like okay, I need to like put disclaimers and stuff. I was just gotten to I don't fucking care now. If they visit me, they're just gonna question me again. So like, Yes, I even had like in the beginning of my lyric videos, like in the beginning of South Park, I have that like flashing disclaimer. Like I had that at the beginning of every song, and now I'm just like, God, man, I just don't care. Like whatever.
Have you lost any friends over this, like over your politics and your music?
When I first started, yeah, and then after, I kind of just gained all my friends that are in that same like category. So yeah. So it's hard to lose them when you've gained them in that perspective.
Yeah, right.
I do have a lot of right-wing songs. I will say, like, the message behind them is like, I believe that, like, let's say birth control turns women into. It's a song that's like talking about how like big pharma takes advantage of women. But I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be, oh yeah, you're all because you're on birth control, which we know she is. But if I'm talking to a normal person, right. So I have that front there, but the message is like behind the lyrics, and it's, oh, this is catchy, this is funny. Oh, wow, this is kind of like true. So that's kind of what I've been trying to do, and it's still art I'm trying to perfect.
Got it. Okay. Well, makes sense then. Do you think like you've talked about with Good Religion, you want your more serious stuff to be on there?
Yeah.
Do you think like that all the music on Good Religion is going to reflect your true beliefs on things?
Yeah. And it's not even going to be like political. It's going to, I guess, just more serious music. Even if it's just a song that's about emotion or whatever, or break songs, whatever. It'll just not be satirical or fronted by irony,
Sure.
Plus, I kind of want to try like different genres of music. Like, the first song I released on that is thrash. I've got some post-punk sounding songs that I will eventually release. So it's more of an experiment too of different sounds instead of, my pop punk or hardcore punk sound.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. You pretty much kept to the same genre your whole time making music, right?
Yeah, it does get tiring. It does get tiring sometimes.
Well, I mean, you still make some great stuff. I mean, it all gets lots of streams, so clearly it works, right? If it ain't broke.
True.
So, speaking of these more serious songs, though, part of your public persona, you make your Christian faith a very primary aspect of your life. You talk about it a lot. It's a major theme in your music. And even when you won the E-CEL Motel competition, in that Twitter space, you had said that you were going to use your $500 in winnings to build a religious shrine in your hometown.
Yep.
I was wondering, what is your history with your faith? Like, has it grown as you've made music, or has it always been a big part of your life?
It's definitely grown as I've progressed through life in general. I grew up from a Catholic background, and then my mother, we didn't really go to mass that often, so I started going to a Protestant church. And of course, then I started listening to Nirvana. I'm like 13. I'm like angsty, so I became an atheist. And then after that was me just trying to find what I think is the truth. So it was just kind of a progression along. And recently, I have this. Well, I want to say recently, I've been reading about Orthodoxy for a long time, and I finally started going to Orthodox churches, and I'm very passionate about it. And I do want to sing more about it. And it's really hard to do that when you've got songs that are like, I hate fat people, women, it's really hard to do that. And I really want to sing about it and stuff. Like I see, and I'm trying not to seem like a LARP too. But I do go to church, I'm genuinely passionate about it. I do see people that are LARPs, and I don't want to fall into that category. So I'm like trying not to like go too heavy on it.
Sure.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, like, I'm Catholic. I go to mass every Sunday. You said it was difficult to balance that, like, rock star punk, women or stuff like that. Do you ever think about not, like, giving up on the music for that? Because I know that me and my bandmates have all thought, like, is this something that's right for a Christian man to do?
Yeah, I have my moments. where I'm like, should I be doing this? But I don't know. I still enjoy it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. It's still a toss. I'm never going to delete my music, but I do think about it sometimes. Like, is this Christian? One thing I've wanted to stop doing in my music is swearing.
That's what we said. That's so funny because that's what we said. Yeah, my bandmates are gonna be very happy with me because I was like, is that really necessary? But yeah, that's so funny. I've had the same discussion before.
Yeah, so that's gonna be hard because like it's so easy. If you need that extra syllable, it's so easy to throw in like fuck, And
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna allow me to like use my brain a little bit, be a little more creative.
You got to replace it with the NegativeXP style, like whooping. Like you got to go, yeah, ooh, you know, like,
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up with this whole try not to swear. I remember in your song that won the competition, Wage Cuck Anthem, and a part of it you say "gosh damned." I remember thinking that's so out of place because I think right before that you say "fucking," so it's like, oh, interesting censor there, but okay.
Yeah.
I support it. I mean, yeah, I'm a Christian man too. I'm a Catholic.
yeah, no, I'm here for that. Yeah.
It's funny, like in the song "Void of Personality," where it's like, everybody knows she's a goddamn. Like when I perform live, I try to say "gosh damn."
Yeah.
I remember my dad heard that song. When I said "god damn," he was like, ugh.
Oh, is your dad a pretty Christian man too?
Not really Christian. I mean, he's just like most Protestants here. He does believe in God, and but he doesn't go to church or anything like that. So
sure.
Yeah.
And I have to ask, what's the state of that shrine? You promised me pictures, and I still haven't gotten any.
Oh, I sent you some icons I've been making. So right now I'm making the icons for it. I'm going to make 2 or 3 more now, and I'm kind of waiting a little bit to save up some money because I did just get the RV that I'll be living in, but now I'm going to start working on the actual base of the shrine. So I've been working on making the icons, and I'm getting them blessed. So
sweet. Yeah, I do remember the icons. That's right. Yeah.
Slow process. Yeah, they're turning out well.
Nice. Yeah, it's great to hear, man. That's really cool.
The hard part is going to be getting the approval to do it. So I live in a really small town, but obviously I live in the South. It's all Protestants. So I'm just going to tell them it's a Christian shrine.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some people are probably going to be, oh, why is there why is the icon of the Virgin Mary just as big as Jesus? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to get permission to do it. I might not be able to do it in this town. I'll just have to find somewhere. If I have to put it in my yard, I'll just do that. But
nice. Well, hey, prayers out to you, man. It's a good good endeavor for sure.
Thank you.
And then I do want to speak. Harpseal here sort of touched on it. Has your music affected your real life in any big way? Besides, obviously, the police have visited you. You mentioned that maybe you did lose a few friends, but then you gained some. Has it ever affected like your job, or maybe you mentioned having loans? Has it ever affected loan applications even? Because I know stuff like that can get in the way.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've had people recognize me for my music, especially in Greenville, because a lot of people in the punk scene in Greenville do know of me, whether they dislike me or like me. And I used to work out there, but it's never affected me career-wise. It's never affected like any. The only thing that's kind of socially affected me was in that one girl that I was dating. Her dad wasn't fond of my music, but even she didn't really care too much. I don't know. I just kind of feel like the whole cancel culture thing is sort of made up. If you're a skilled laborer, like nobody gives a shit in the real world.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's good to hear.
Because I'm a contractor, so like I get contracted to like flight instruct and like work on airplanes and stuff like that. So like, I mean, all the guys at my work, including my boss, know of my music. One of them actually likes my music and keeps up with me. Like,
wow, cool.
Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit.
All right, very awesome.
It's really weird how Incelcore attracts people involved in the aviation industry. This is something that I wanted to talk about here because I haven't thought about it before, but one of my bandmates, he does things in the aviation industry. And then a guy that's been to a show that you have met, you talk to him, also wants to be a pilot. So I think it's something in the aviation industry. Something must be in the jet fuel that makes people want to do Incelcore.
Yeah, maybe it kills their brain cells.
Yeah, it's the lead. Yeah, I've met a handful of people that are either aircraft mechanics or actual pilots. It's freaking weird.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Weird, but it's good industry to get into, I suppose. Although you mentioned at the start of the show, maybe you don't want to talk about this, but you mentioned it in the public Discord server E-CEL that you have a really high debt that you are currently paying off. You're paying the size of a mortgage every month to pay it off. Does that like, how's your real life doing? You know, like that seems like that would be something that could really hurt a guy.
Bro, it sucks. So not to go too into details, because like genuinely the school that I went to will sue me. The name of the school rhymes with Jew Line Aviation. I'll just put it like that. But anyway, so a little lore on that. I went to this school, and it was right when COVID was about to happen. Like, it happened halfway through. It was an accelerated flight school. I got a handful of my licenses really quick. I had a flight, and they hired a flight instructor that I wasn't getting instructed under that would fall asleep during lessons. Like, he was a garbage instructor. Yeah, I failed like my first couple exams because he like did not teach me something correctly, and they ended up firing him. So I had to get used to a new instructor while getting ready for like a new license. It was a huge stressor. And then COVID happened. So one of the guys in the apartment gets sick, so they quarantine us all. So I just go home. I was like, look, I'm going home. Like, they quarantined us for like a month. That was when they were like, oh yeah, you got to be like quarantined for 2 weeks at least if somebody's even got symptoms, right? So, so I went home. I was gone for like a month, and then they were like, actually, no, it was more of a month and a half. So I come back, and they're like, oh yeah, before we can continue your training, you're gonna have to pay for the rent for like 2 months because they rounded up. And I was like, how much is it? And they're like $1,200.
Jeez.
I'm like, I don't got that. So we're going to have to kick you out. I'm like, could you just wait till after? Like, I got maybe a month left of this program. So they ended up kicking me out. They let me finish my commercial license. And then, I left. But then they ended up not giving me a refund for the rest of the program, because the rest of the license I was supposed to get was about $40,000 worth. I never got that back. So ended up $90,000 in debt.
Jeez.
Declared bankruptcy. That knocked $30,000 of that off. So I've been paying that $60,000 off, and it's $1,300 a month. Yeah, it's not to go too into detail. This is more for somebody who's actually considering going to like a flight school. Don't go to an accelerated.
Yeah.
So anybody listening to this, if you want to be a pilot, don't go to an accelerated flight school. But yeah, so that's the background there. So I can't afford to move out. I can't afford to get a new car if mine breaks down. I gotta repair everything. Like, I'm broke. I'm an aircraft mechanic. I'm broke. So yeah, that became more of a vent. But yeah,
dude, talk about debt slavery, man. That stuff should be illegal.
It's bad. It's bad when you declare bankruptcy and it still doesn't knock it out.
Well, that's what a lot of people don't realize is student loans are unaffected by bankruptcy. They're like a special exemption, which is just insane to me. Like, what? Like, how is that? It's just so stupid. Yeah, and for anybody who's listening to this, if you go to a trade school and they have this fancy loan that you can take out, don't take it out if it's labeled as a private student loan. Because if you take out a federal student loan, you can still get all these benefits. Let's say you get cancer, God forbid, and like you're getting chemo or something. You can take a break from the payments, and there's certain breaks that you can get with federal student loans. With private student loans, you get nothing. Bankruptcy doesn't wipe out; you get nothing. If you're dying of cancer, your cosigner is going to start paying for that loan instantly. Wow,
it's ruthless. Yeah,
crazy.
Fuck it. It's a scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. It's evil, but yeah.
Have you ever thought about a song titled I Hate Usury? You ever thought about something like that?
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. That'd be a pretty passionate song.
Based on a lot of real life experience.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, speaking of evil, you recently met Sam Hyde in person.
Sam Hyde would tell you that debt's a good thing. So,
It was pretty cool. It was short and sweet, obviously. I just went to a show. He doesn't meet and greet after every show. It wasn't like we met up or anything. It wasn't nothing special. But I gave him like a custom made album. So he hasn't messaged me or anything like that. So it's a nothing burger. It was pretty cool to get a picture with him. He said, "This is for me." He said he wasn't taking anything, and I still gave it to him. And he was like, "Man, that's pretty damn." He looked at it. This dude is huge, man. I'm 5'6". This guy is like tall as shit. Giant. He had to like get on his knees.
I think he's like 6'4". He's 6'5".
I think he's 6'3". Yeah.
He's like on one knee, like to get a picture on me to be on my level. It's kind of funny.
Dude, I wasn't gonna bring that up, but I was like, you could see him like stooping down.
Yeah. Well, like I give him this thing. It's got the picture of George Floyd on it. He just looks at it and goes, "What the hell is this?" He said, "Is this for me?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, that's pretty cool. It's on his album. I mean, I make stupid music." So he's like, "Okay, yeah, cool, yeah." And he gave it to somebody. I'll take it. I'll take that. So that was cool.
Nice. Congratulations, man. It's cool just to meet the guy. So
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. What was also pretty cool is when I was there, it was like 8 people that recognized me.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. That was 8 people. I got a picture with them actually. I guess it's the same side of the internet. So
I was gonna say there's a lot of overlap between this crowd and MDE's crowd because there's several people. Some of them have even been on the podcast to talk about meeting guys from like Sam Hyde's crew.
yeah.
And then I don't know if do you know Frank Hassel? He's apparently attended some real life Incelcore events.
Yeah. He actually follows me.
Really?
On Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's very cool.
Yeah,
man.
I think he follows Watermark too. Yeah, he follows Watermark and some other people. Pretty cool.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever met any other like sort of celebrity types? E-celebrities besides the ones obviously at the live shows in the Incelcore scene, but like outside of the scene?
Not really. I almost met Chris Chan.
Yeah.
I've seen Chris Chan in person. Yeah.
Wow,
You've
really?
seen him in person.
Yeah, over in Virginia. We knew where he lives, so me and Zarel went and brought a poster, invited him to the show. I got to see him because he went up to the door that was open, I guess, to let air in and instantly closed it. So it wasn't like we talked or anything, but I have seen Chris Chan in person. Technically. So,
I gotta
Is he as
ask.
beautiful as he...
Yeah, what does he look like?
it was so quick. It just looked like a figure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It was like a silhouette. I mean, it was definitely him. And it was pretty cool because we left a note saying, "Hey, like we're doing this show. Like if you want to come out." Yeah, we were really nice. And he had like a chain that went across like the front stoop that was like no trespass. So we didn't violate anything. We didn't want to, invade any privacy. So we left him a poster and a note. And he actually messaged the venue owner and was like, "Thank you for the invite. I won't come out to this one, but it was really nice of you. So I hope you have a good show." So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Very nice. Yeah, we heard the other side of that from Watermark too when he talked about when that went on. But that's really cool. That's really cool.
Maybe at a future show. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. If the scene comes back a little bit, he hears about it, wants to participate. Maybe.
That'd be wild.
Can we get Southern Scum 4 at Chris Chan's house? Can we do that, please?
Yeah, let's
Please.
go.
I love the Justice Pub. I hate Florida.
Well, that's really all my main questions that I have for you, Tzar. Harpseal, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask him possibly?
Yeah, I'm more on the technical band side of things. I make all my own cover art. You can tell for my albums. I wanted to know, do you outsource that or do you make that? Because I do it in MS Paint, so like I'm not out here with a drawing tablet or anything. But I wanted to know if you made all your album covers or you paid somebody to do that.
It's all outsourced.
Okay.
And usually it's people that volunteer. I try to pay them anyway. I'm just extremely blessed, man. I get messages from people that are like, "Hey, I made this. Do you like it?" And I'm like, "Hey, do you want to make something else for me? Like, this is really good." And I worked with this one guy for a little bit from Australia. His name was Dart, and super cool guy. I haven't heard from him in a while. He actually came to one of the Southern Scum shows. Came all the way from Australia, but he did like Enemy of the State and did some singles and stuff. Like incredible artist. Like I love his art style. I think he deleted his Instagram. I would shout him out, but yeah. So I mean, it's just various artists. I will say Alexandra Burning. I drew that one myself.
Okay. Yeah.
That one was the one I did myself. The earlier albums and Arm to the Terror to People was done by a guy named Joda from iFunny. Incredible artist. He's always offered to volunteer to do it. Like this art's freaking cool, and he just gets better and better. But yeah, he did Bass and Red Pill, did Black Pill to Public, Arm to the Terror to People. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a very unique style, but
very cool. Yeah, nice.
And then your music is incredibly high quality. Like it's. You don't have anybody mix that or anything like that? Do you pay somebody for it? Is it all you? Like, how do you get it to be so just? I don't know. It's crisp. It's clean. It's do you do a million takes? What's your secret? What's the secret sauce?
I'm so flattered. I do it all myself. I do it with very minimalist gear too. I don't have a lot of fancy gear. Honestly, like my first like half of my discography was done with the Scarlett Solo. It's the best thing I can say is get a decent pair of studio monitors like that. That's like the most expensive thing. It's just a couple $100, like some KRKs or something like that. I mean, I even use Mackeys, and those are the cheap ones. But subtractive EQ, get rid of the bad frequencies and things, and then you can add your reverb and stuff like that. Compression is your best friend with vocals and stuff. Most songs that I make, it's like 2 takes. Like
wow.
It's like I just get in the mood to make a song, and like I'll start at like 6 o'clock after work, and then I'll finish around 1 o'clock. That's from 0 to like nothing to like uploading. Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
Wow, you do it all in one evening. Does that include writing the lyrics for it, like all that? Do you write out chord progressions and then the lyrics, or is it lyric? Because the way we do it is we come up with an idea. I have my guitarist and my drummer come up with like a basic thing that we do, and then we go over it for maybe 12 hours or something, and then we come out with a song at the end. But is it like you write the lyrics, you're like, oh, I like these lyrics, and then you write a guitar and then bass and then drums, or what's the strategy behind that?
I have a theme for the song. Sometimes I'll maybe have a little bit of a melody in my head, and it usually never turns out completely like I have it, originally made in my head. I'll knock out all the instrumentals, and then I'll have the idea of what I want the song to be like, or I'll even have like a couple lines that I want included, and I'll figure out how to fit it in there, and then I'll write everything out. I'll just listen to the song on repeat, like, and even sing like what the melody would be in like Simish. Like it won't be real lyrics, just like So I'll just do that until I can think of words, and then I'll go over it and just make sure it all makes sense, and then I just start recording instantly.
Wow.
But I was thinking about I'm going to make a Patreon. I really want to like maybe make some guides on what I do, because I would love to see some people like get more into their mixing and mastering.
Oh, so like your Patreon would have like behind the scenes, like how you do that stuff?
Yeah, maybe some, like DIYs, like some guides on how to do certain things, how to use compression, how to use subtractive EQ.
Oh, dude, there'd be tons of people who would love to use that stuff, especially like hearing it from you. Didn't you tell me? I thought you told me at one point that you try to keep your production under $500, right?
It's under 1,000.
Under 1,000.
And now it's probably a little bit over, because I did get some new monitors, and I did get a different amp. But like, let's say like Alexandria Burning or Enemy to State, it's about $1,000, $1,100 worth of gear.
Wow. Impressive. I do want to say, I never thanked you for this. You gave me an awesome tip where I was looking for a pop filter, and you said you just used a sock. I'm using that right now, and I've used it on some of my songs. Such a great tip, dude. Like, pretty genius.
Bro, when in doubt, put a sock on it. If your strings are vibrating on your guitar, wrap a sock around the top and the neck. If you need a pop filter, put a freaking sock on it. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's an awesome tip, dude. Like, that was great. I still use it, so that's cool.
And I just got one more question. It's for my guitarist. What guitar do you play on?
I play off a Gibson Les Paul Studio.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
I got it off of Craigslist for like $500, and I had some hardware just laying around, so I just kind of did the neck on it, did all the work myself on it, and then I sold it. And then a couple months later, I saw it for sale again, so I went and bought it and got my guitar back.
The same one?
Yes.
Really? Wow, what are the odds, huh?
Yeah, I got really lucky. I missed that thing too. It was more than a couple months. It was at the end of school, so I needed the money really bad. But yeah, I missed it. And I saw it again. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'm buying it now. And the guy was like, yeah, since it was yours, I'll hold it for you. Let you save up a little bit. So I went and got it.
Oh, sick, dude.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I guess so. Well, then, we are about ready to wrap up, unless you got any questions for us real quick, Tzarbombah.
Nah, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah. Seriously, dude. I think, like I said, your online persona is kind of hard to nail down what you actually think. So
yeah,
I think this will be a great insight into the mind of Tzar.
Sweet.
If you want to go ahead and tell everybody where they can follow you, where they can find your stuff, all the main accounts that you want people to, follow you on. And then if you got any big upcoming projects that you want to promote, go ahead and let them out here.
Sure thing. follow my Instagram. It's Tzarbombah. It's spelled a little weird. It's Tzarbombah. And if you go to tzarbombah.net, you'll be able to find all my social media, my Spotify and stuff, and you'll be able to find my merchandise along with CDs and tapes. I'm going to be releasing bi-weekly singles now. At the end of next year, I hope to have another album, but next year I'll be playing a lot of shows. So if you guys stay tuned for that and even sign up for the email on the website, I'll be able to email you all the locations and stuff like that.
Wow, very cool. That's very professional. Very nice.
But again, thank you for having me on.
Oh, yeah, dude, totally. Thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
I hope to see you. You're going to be playing at Steak Fest, right? Coming up at the end of this year?
Absolutely.
Nice. Hopefully we'll be able to meet you in person then, man. I'm really looking forward to it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, okay then, dude. I guess just again, thank you so much for being here, and we wish you all of the success possible in your future endeavors.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Well, that was the interview with Tzarbombah. Man, great to finally get to talk to that guy, learn a little bit about the man himself and not just the online persona. Was a little bit of a late notice that I gave him. I'm kind of a lot of people wouldn't you wouldn't guess, with how professionally all this is set up, but I'm a really lazy piece of shit. Takes me a long time to do anything. So I messaged him just a couple days ago and I was like, "Hey, would you want to come on? Maybe my guy that I was going to do canceled." And then he's like, "Sure, I'll come." Yeah, we got him on, and it was a great time. I don't know. I think that interview went great. You think we missed anything?
No, I mean, I had everything. You covered a lot of stuff that was in my my notes, my show notes. A lot of really interesting factoids he gave us. Yeah, I don't know. It was a great interview. Answered a lot of questions. So yeah,
totally. I am a little bit disappointed in the sense that with every interview, I always say this too. With every interview that I do on here, I like to make the guest uncomfortable at some point. Like I like to hear them go, because that proves it shows that you're getting to the heart of the issue. You're getting to the uncomfortable stuff, the stuff nobody wants to cover. Yeah. It seems like Tzar is a little bit of an open book. No,
definitely.
He never really shrinked at anything. Even when I brought up his debt, I kind of figured the debt maybe.
I was like, whoa, he's really going there. But yeah, I mean, man, he's
even with Fried. I expected him to be like not wanting to start any beef or anything. But he's just like, I just don't really care. And it's
I think you got that out of the way early with the thing about being the shortest guy in Incelcore. So
yeah, I know. Well, I just glazed him, so I had to, hit him with something.
Come out swinging early.
Yeah. But no, Tzar's a cool guy. I think that was.
He's great.
This is going to be a great interview. So looking forward to dropping it. But all right. Well, I mean, there's really nothing more to be said. I guess, Harpseal, if you want to go ahead and promote yourself, tell everybody where they can follow you and find your stuff. Tell them, if you got any projects coming out, go ahead and do it right now. If you want.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, I'm Harpseal of Harpseal and the Hyperboreans. You can find me on Twitter, at Sealboria. This November, probably towards Thanksgiving, new album coming out, Bad Music and Immature Politics. We're going to drop that. It's going to be 8 songs, some covers, some new stuff.
Is that only going to be on Spotify, or is it you're going to maybe move to SoundCloud?
Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much everywhere you can listen to music except SoundCloud. So
oh my gosh, you got to get on there, man. You got to get on there.
I know. There's some good stuff. We put out a song maybe a month ago, just before I left for school. Go listen to that. It's called "Women Made Me Unfunny and Gay." I'll be at, if you want to meet me, I'll be at Steak Fest this November. So you can talk to me there. I'm sure that you'll find me. Other than that, probably not going to be projects for a good long while. Some of my bandmates are getting married, so So I don't know when the next Harpseal and the Hyperboreans project will be coming out, but I'm sure we'll get back to it at some point. There'll be a reunion tour when I'm 70, I'm sure. Yeah, that's about it for me. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Last Crusader Left. That's sort of like my personal account. But other than that, don't really have any more accounts or anything. You can find me on the E-CEL Discord server if you want to add me on a friend there. That's Last Crusader as well. So yeah, that's about it for me.
Sweet, man. Yeah, we hope you get more tapped into the scene. That's why I'm like pushing you to get on SoundCloud, dude. That's where you'll get all the commenters.
Yeah.
That's where most of the fan base is. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people listen on Spotify, but a lot of them are on SoundCloud too.
Yeah. I'll talk to I'm not the guy who uploads any of this stuff anywhere. I'll talk to him about it. See if we can get that pushed out. I want to join, but I don't know anything about SoundCloud, so I'll
it's real simple. If I can figure it out, anybody can.
That's fair. Yeah. A lot of Brazilians using SoundCloud apparently, so I'm sure that I can figure it out too.
It's very true. And then for myself, everybody, I'm just gonna let you know. Obviously, I'm Ofigs on everything. I have a YouTube channel. I have a SoundCloud that you should go listen to. I have a Twitter at Incelcore fan. If you're gonna follow me on anything, follow me on there. I really like using Twitter. I'm really good at it, not to brag, but then also go join the E-CEL Discord server. That's where you get notifications for all this stuff. You got to follow the podcast here on YouTube, like the video, subscribe, go on Spotify. We have it on there too. Make sure you subscribe there. You can leave comments on there too. More people should leave comments on the interview on Spotify because, I don't know, it helps the engagement, I guess. Check out any clips that we had to cut out on Rumble. There's definitely going to be one for this episode. I already know there will be because of some of the subject matter we talked about. So go check out Rumble there. And
hope it wasn't anything I said.
Yeah, don't worry. It'll be cool. I like having clips on there. And then also, obviously, you got to follow E-CEL Network on Twitter. Stay up to date on all the latest scene happenings. Join the Twitter space next Friday, and every other Friday after that. But, well, guys, I guess that's it.